Are you trying to buy your very first home here in California? Is it feeling perhaps a little confusing or even overwhelming? Well, I'm going to break down step by step exactly what you need to do in the very initial phases of buying your very first home. I don't want you to just automatically go online or perhaps even reach out to real estate agents when you are nowhere ready to begin your home search. So first off, let's break down being a homeowner versus renting. Now, number one, when you have a mortgage, your mortgage payment, for the most part, is gonna stay the same for the life of your loan. It may fluctuate, $20, $30 over the years, just depending on taxes and other things. But for the most part, your mortgage payment is locked in. Let's say you have a 30-year fixed. That is going to be your payment until paid off your mortgage. Versus renting, your rent can increase. You really don't have control over that. Perhaps you have a good situation with your landlord, but it's probably not as good as paying off your own mortgage. Now, number two, your property tax and mortgage interest is most likely going to be tax deductible, right? So when you're paying off your mortgage, of course, you do have to pay that interest. There's just no getting around it. However, you can write that off when it comes to tax season. Now, opposed to renting, whatever you're paying your landlord is generally not going to be tax deductible. Now, the biggest advantage to being a homeowner versus renting is, of course, that you are building equity in your home right over the long term. And I would think that you aren't buying a home with any plans in selling in the near future, right? You want to buy and hold on to your home as a long-term investment. Now, versus renting, all that money, you're basically just throwing out the window. Your landlord is saying, thank you very much. You are being a fantastic tenant. Thank you very much for paying off my mortgage and living in my house. There are some additional benefits of being a homeowner. Let's talk about a couple tax breaks that homeowners can enjoy. As you can see here, first off, if you are a single person, you get up to a $250,000 tax break on any capital gains tax you might have to pay. So let's say you buy and 10 years down the road, it's time to sell. Your home has appreciated, let's say, $300,000. You only need to pay taxes on that difference, $50,000 from those 10 years. That's if you're a single person. If you're a married couple, you get up to a $500,000, $500K tax break when selling your home. So a definite advantage of being a homeowner. Okay, now what about paying taxes on your property as a homeowner? If you're in California, whatever tax rate you locked in when you bought your home is pretty much going to be the same rate that you pay throughout the entire time that you own that land. So Californians, we get taxed quite a bit in other phases of life, but as far as property tax, it's not so bad. The value of most properties, most homes here is well above the national average. But whatever tax rate that you lock in when you buy your home is going to be the rate that you pay moving forward. Now, also, thanks to here, Prop 19, property is staying within the family. You can pass that original tax rate on to whoever is inheriting your home. So definitely a huge advantage of being a homeowner here in California. Okay, now let's talk about preparing to actually buy your home. Now, the first thing you need to do is to go get pre-qualified. Going and looking at houses, going to open houses, or even having real estate agents show you homes without knowing how much you're pre-qualified for is just a huge waste of time, right? It's like going shopping without knowing how much money you have in your wallet. So there are three major factors that are going to determine how much you can get pre-qualified for. The first is your income, right? And lenders want to see at least 2 years of stable income in the same job. Second factor is going to be your FICO or your credit score. Now, a credit score of 740 or above is considered superior, excellent, and you're going to get the best possible rates. If you have a FICO above 740, 680 to 700 or just above 700 is still very good. You're probably going to get a pretty good rate even in this environment. Now, if you have a credit score of 600 or below, it may not be time for you to be looking at buying a home just yet. There are ways for you to repair your credit. We all have our different spending habits, things we like, and things that we value, but having a good credit score is paramount into getting the best possible terms on your loan. So I wouldn't really go start to get pre-qualified until you can get that credit score to at least probably 680 or above, so you can get the best possible rates for your loan. Okay, now the third factor that's going to determine how much you're pre-qualified for is how much money you have for a down payment. Now, depending on your loan, it can range from anywhere from 0 all the way to 20% of the purchase price required for a down payment. If you have a conventional loan, it could be anywhere from 3 all the way to 20%. And you'll probably get pretty good rates, of course, depending on your credit score. Now, depending on your qualifications and your profession, you may be able to find a loan that you don't have to put any money down whatsoever. There are some specialty loans specifically designed for perhaps doctors or lawyers where they don't have to put any money down, but they need to prove through their work, through their contract, that they're going to be earning quite a bit of money in the very near future to be able to pay off the loan. Or perhaps you qualify for a VA loan and you don't have to put any money down. Okay, so those three things are going to determine your pre-qualification amounts, your income, credit score, and how much money you have available for a down payment. Now, let's say that number comes back, you get your pre-qual letter, and it says, okay, you are pre-qualified for, let's call it $600,000. Now, just because the bank or just because the lender says they're willing to loan you $600,000 does not mean that you have to go and use all of that, right? You can if you're comfortable with it, but you need to sign on the dotted line for something that you know you can afford, right? We all have our different spending habits. We have different monthly payments. You may have a student loan payment, perhaps a car payment. We need to pay for food, entertainment, whatever it may be, right? Figure out what your monthly budget is going to be and be comfortable with what you're signing for. Okay, now that you are prepared with your pre-qualification letter from your lender, now you can comfortably hop on Zillow or Redfin or wherever and start perusing online and start imagining where you could see yourself. Next, I would make a list of the absolute non-negotiables, the things that you have to have in your home. You couldn't see yourself living there without. And then make kind of a wish list, right, of the things that would be really, really nice to have, but if needed, you could live without. From that point, you can really start to narrow down where you could find yourself living. My name is Peter Kane. I work with Century 21, Lois Lauer. Please do not hesitate to reach out and we can get you in your home as soon as possible. If you want to learn even more about some of the neighborhoods in Redlands, then click on this video.